But the context of this message is the children of Israel were in Babylon. And the Babylonians did not worship Jehovah God. They rejected him. It wasn't that they did not know who he was. It wasn't like they didn't know the stories that had come down through the ages of what the Lord had done for the children of Israel. They just chose not to believe it. And yet the children of Israel find themselves surrounded by people that did not worship God. What does that sound like? The Bible tells us that they were in difficult times. They were worshipers of God, but then because they were in difficult situations, some translations say even in slavery, but I choose to say they were under the influence of individuals that did not love and worship God. And the children of Israel, if all things were consistent, are y'all with me? If the children of Israel, the ones that were chosen by God himself, they should have been the ones influencing the Babylonians. And yet it was the Babylonians influencing the believers, the children of Israel. What does that sound like, church folk? Because we're the ones that are God's chosen. You don't have to look at anybody, but in your own self, God made you so wonderful that when he made you, all he could do was step back and say, good. When God made us, he made us with nothing missing, nothing lacking, and nothing broken. And when God is on our side and we are a believer, there's so much power within us. But the challenge is not to let difficult times make you listen to somebody that don't know. Can I speak poor English for a second? That don't know nothing about the God you love. Since when do we take instruction from the world? Since when do we take how we are dressed from the world? But see, we've been around them. Listen, we're in the world, but not of the world. The children of Israel were in Babylonian, but they took on the ways of the Babylonians because they were so lost. The children of Israel didn't worship God like they used to because of the influence of the Babylonians. They didn't even talk like they once did because they were under the influence of the Babylonians. But wait a minute, how did that happen? Because the only reason they were in captivity with the Babylonians is because they did not treat God in the manner of respect that he needed. I'm not saying that everything that's going on is because God is mad at us, but when believers take on the way of the world, and when believers don't spend time with God, and when believers choose to do what they want to do because they have the liberty to do it, and we know that some of that stuff ain't right, then God is saying, wait a minute, you have taken on the world's way. Yo, y'all don't like me. Let me hurry up. Wait a minute. Let me get to here. God has a plan. Y'all praying for me? God has a plan. And one of the questions that arise when we're in the midst of difficulty is, how do we receive hope when things look so hopeless? How do we keep our hope when things look, has anybody ever been there? How do we keep encouraged when we keep getting bad news? Last week the car was broken down. This week your wife is acting funny. This morning your husband act like he lost his mind. Your children been fools for a long time. How do we? Can we just talk real for a second? Some of us, we're here and it's wonderful when we get here, but we go home and we're living in hell. It's hell all around us. It's hell in the house. It's hell at the job. But God is saying no matter how much hell is around you, don't let hell get in you.